All right, ladies and gents, welcome to some Gold League action. This is the league beneath Platinum. Platinum is the top 24 in the world, and Gold League is the 24 under that. I have a feeling this game, though, is going to have a few fish traps. I didn't actually see it, okay, but I know Somero, and there was a game that I want to, make content about at some point where Somero had played this very map against Dragonstar. And I think he tried fish traps in these ponds, which is pretty crazy. So, anyways, I got a little too excited, so let me just back up. We've got Fire, who was at one point top 10 in the world. A couple years back, he was definitely in that convo. He kind of slowly faded away from relevance, at least in terms of the top 10 and top 15, as other players improved. But then, he's starting to show a lot more activity, starting to show a lot more interest over the last year, getting some better results. And he did play in Gold League the first season, and he was close to being promoted, but wasn't able to make it out. So I think he's really motivated right now. He's gone for the Mongols, and this map is Kilimanjaro, guys, and there's quite a bit of hunt. But I say quite a bit, actually. It's not actually as much hunt if you were to do the math compared to other maps, because you only have one elephant as opposed to like 2 boars or something. But yeah, Fire's he's an old veteran of the game. He's been around a long time, and I think he's going to be the heavy favorite here in this series. Somero was just promoted from the Silver League to the Gold League, so he went through the whole promotion process, had some crazy sets, and then jumped right into Gold. And so, but he is the caliber of player, Somero, who I think will know that he's going to be bested by Fire on a map like this if he doesn't play something unique. And he's in that conversation of potentially being relegated out of Gold. I say that with all the love and respect to Somero in the world, but I think it's just the reality because Gold League is so competitive. So I can't talk a lot about their group right now. We also didn't show it on screen, especially for YouTube, I think, because it would show spoilers, as Gold League is always updated. But we have Somero walling up, and he's walling super early here with the Aztecs. And maybe at the very least, he's going to want to just get to Castle Age. He could try a risky fast castle here. Could definitely see that. Aztecs' best age is probably Castle Age. And Mongols, their best age is Dark Age and Feudal Age, and then way later on in the Imperial Age. So there's the Castle Age is kind of that period in time where the Aztecs don't feel quite as crazy. All right. Dude, I have no clue what you're talking about. But I would say go for it, Michael. I'd say go for it. And yes, I've never tried Rise of Nations. I know myself, though, and I probably will never try Rise of Nations. Me trying another game would mean that I would spend less time doing Age of Empires, which I don't think the majority of you would like. So, well, that's not necessarily true. I try some other games from time to time. Maybe there will be a time. I know very little about Rise of Nations, though, so. All right, so full wall is possible. This map's supposed to be aggressive. Okay, looks like the walls are going to continue. Fire's getting loomed now. Fire's going to come forward. He's going to see this. And I don't know how much homework he's done, but again, I've seen enough to know that Somero's tried some funky things in the past. Did I ever play Battlefield 3? I think I have one of the Battlefields, and I played the first 30... I played it for 30 minutes. I got in a mood where I wanted to do a really good campaign on a shooter. And then 30 minutes in, I was just like, you know what? I'm not actually interested. I'm just going to watch TV. So, never really got into the Battlefields, though. Okay, so Fire sees the walls. Now, he doesn't necessarily know what this means. I don't even fully know what this means right now, besides staying super safe against the Scout Rush, which is obviously something. But, I mean, Somero, you don't even have your goats here, dude. You kind of need that to go Feudal Age. This is really bad. Also, every other player makes a mill on these shorefish. You can see Fire's done that. That's a lot of food income for Fire. He's almost brought in all that 400 food that you would get from those 2 shorefish. But Fire is walled out. with his pressure. What about RimWorld? I think you could probably insert any game. There it is. There's the dock. I think you'd probably insert any game into the what about this, and I probably would say no. That's not true. I have history. I played a lot of Call of Duty and Halo in the past. I played Worms 3D a lot as a kid. Serious Sam, Roller Coaster Tycoon, and some Farming Simulator, and then the Age of Empires series. There's some other games sprinkled in there, but that's it for the most part. So, full defense right now from Somero. And Fire has decided, instead of going for scouts, he's going to try and make this into archers. And I kind of like the logic, because what are scouts going to do just attacking the walls? They're not going to accomplish near as much. However, here's the thing. I was initially thinking that Fire was going to go scouts and towers. It's a bit off meta these days, but if you had like 4 scouts just attacking the walls, and then you drop the tower here, you know his wood line's there. I think there was a time where that could have maybe worked out. But yeah, Somero, he's docked shorefish. There's 2 shorefish. It is additional eco units, and Somero plays a lot of Black Forest where there's a lot of docking on ponds. And so this is his whole strat, is just be greedy. And he's now docking a pond that doesn't even have any fish. So that means, let's think about the investment. He thinks twice about that. So you need dock, which is 150 wood. Fishing ship, which is 75 wood. Fish trap, which is 100 wood. In total, that is 325 wood to get 1 fishing ship on a fish trap in that other pond. Now, obviously, he could build up towards fish traps here. But I mean, it's so costly, man. And it's crazy, right? Like, it's absolutely ridiculous to someone would ever think to try that. But he did try it in the past, and it almost worked. His opponent wasn't able to break in time. Fire here looking to break in. Now, for Fire, he's not going for any fancy fish traps. He's just going for archers. He's got fletching already. And Fire's probably thinking, like, what is this nonsense, dude? What on earth is this? As we see stone walls now. Still no villagers lost. And then Somero's also going to play into some skirms. Again, this is where things start to get awkward once these fish have all been taken. Actually, I say this is where it's going to take some time yet. I can't click the other one. But there, okay, so about 150 food left on one. And then 130 on the other one. So about halfway through those. And Somero's economy, I say this respectfully, it just doesn't look like the economy of a player who you would expect to be in the top 48 in the world. Now loses a villager. And by the way, he didn't do like this many wacky things to get into Gold League. I think a big part of it for him was like if he sees potential with a wacky strat, he feels like he has to go for it because the caliber of players in this league are just so crazy. Like, all the players who get promoted to whatever league we're talking about, like Platinum, Gold, or Silver, they're all still the players who are favored to just get relegated immediately after. Like, once they make it in, they're expected to go out. That's just kind of how the pecking order works. And so you've got skirms with armor just holding, and Fire has killed 1 villager, and this game is just something else, man. What's the resources brought in look like? Not great. Food count's higher. That's something, I guess. Wood count for Fire. Gold count obviously coming in. And now Fire's like, okay, we're going to take this to the next stage. There's no way this works, man. Right? There's no way this works. Another dock. He's just not going to have the time. I feel like Fire's just going to go Knights and Siege. And then Somero's going to be stuck in Feudal Age with a bunch of fish traps. But he's just going to die to Crossbow, Knight, and Siege. I think. Noah, this is still TTL, as I think someone already responded to, but yeah. Yes, I used to play the crap out of Worms, man. Worms was fun. But yeah, and then the PC games I played were on my brother's PC growing up. Then I wasn't really a big PC gamer until I got back in Age of Empires in 2013. I had played like console stuff Just like your standard games, like FIFA and Call of Duty and things like that for many years. Ever play 3D Bug Attack? No, I've never heard of it. Bug Attack. That sounds interesting. Fire adding another scout. All he sees is skirms right now, right? So we'll have a stable. Total eco count. Somero is ahead. And he's even running out of wood back here, the madman. Now, fish traps have, I think it's 800 food, or is it 750? It's one or the other. Anyways, they have a lot of food on them, so they do last a really long time. And as I always preach about fishing ships, it's another eco unit. So, you know, you're producing out of your TC, but also producing out of 2 docks, you're going to have more eco. But it's such a costly investment to be able to get this food income. And so that's why Fire is able to go to the next stage and accomplish all these different things and have so much potentials, because he has almost an immediate payoff when he spends a resource. Well, Fire should just be in a position to completely smash this. And what had happened in the past with Somero, small spoilers obviously, but when he tried this against Dragonstar, he ended up having an eco lead of like 25. But the army was too strong from the opponent and broke in. So he did maybe learn some lessons there. He's got 9 fishing ships. Oh, man. And he wanted to stonewall this, but that's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen anyways. Fire shouldn't allow this. Okay. Now, he might need to delete the other stone foundations, which could be awkward. And, oh, scouts in, and Somero calls the... All right, people told me to cast the series, so I incorrectly assumed that this game was going to be the one that would work. I thought this was going to be the game that was crazy. Apparently not. Okay, Fire wins the game. Somero was going to lose all of his skirmishers. He still wasn't fully walled. He wasn't able to buy time. He tried it before. It didn't work, and it didn't look very good. Can you imagine being Fire? You're like what am I gonna face in this series? Who is this guy? What is he doing? Fish traps on a map that doesn't really have fish? Okay. What fish are they really trapping, guys? There's no fish in there. This game isn't very realistic. Okay, here we are, game number 2 in a play all 3 in the Gold League. And again, I come into this being told, hey, T90, you've got to check out this series, okay? Check out the series. And here I am. Game 1 was interesting. We had some fish trap shenanigans. Game 2, I don't know. I mean, it's fortified clearing, so you've got some closed map action, excuse me. But Fire is just the heavy favorite. He is. He was formerly top 10 in the world. He played very good in Gold the first season. Made it back to Gold here. And I think Fire might even be favorite to get promoted back to Platinum. Somero is just he's a player who got promoted up from Silver League to Gold League. And he, as far as I know, is really desperate for wins at the moment. So we have the Gurjaras for Somero, a player from the Czech Republic. And then we have Fire playing as the Britons. And the key, as always with the Britons, even though there are avenues to attack on the sides, it is control and push the middle. It is so difficult to deal with the Britons if they have a big mass of arbalest or longbows in the middle and then siege to back it up. So I think that's something that Somera's maybe going to want to take away from Fire, somehow control the middle of the map. And I'm really curious how like Arbalest would do against Travamsha Riders. You know, I think my opinion on Travamsha Rider is slowly changing. I think they're really good in early Castle Age, but apart from that, I'm not sure if they're that insane anymore. I've been seeing less examples of them being used. And that's a big part for me is what am I seeing? What are people doing? For the Gurjaras, it's more about other aspects of their play. But yeah, I would assume it's Fast Castle here, so I don't know. We were talking to Chad about old video games or whatever else, so we could continue that conversation or talk about whatever else. I don't know. How am I feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I need to drink this water. But yeah, I'm feeling good. Throat's a little sore. But I don't know. My fiance and I both kind of had like this 2-week-long cold. Some days were better than others. So I think that might be at the tail end of that. Fire forgot to make a house. Dang, that's really sloppy. Pretty standard start here for Somero. He's really good on the closed maps. And he has all of his sheep with the Gurjaras inside the mill. To be expected. Eco is pretty wild with the Gurjaras, whether it's off a feudal age build or a fast castle build. Both are pretty easy to achieve. If I get to see a game with Elite Longbow and Werewolf Treb, I'll be a happy Rasma. Well, I think Elite Longbow is unlikely to happen because it takes so long to produce them. Like, I think if they removed the faster working archer ranges for Britons, I think you'd see longbows more frequently. Because there would be less of a gap between the production of crossbows from an archer range and the longbow from a castle. But if it goes really late, and, you know, sometimes that time is there, could maybe see a longbow. I remember thinking longbow was the best unit in the game. You don't see it too frequently these days. But when there's a rare longbow sighting, I get excited too. Fire may be thinking about walling this up. Chose not to actually continue to do so right now. On the other side, Somero. And he did wall up. And he's going to wall up the other side too. So this tells me Somero is definitely going for some type of a fast castle. A longbow, assuming we're talking about elite. Well, in general, a longbow does 1 more damage than an arbalest. So, a crossbow does 5 damage. And a regular castle age longbow does 6. And then an elite longbow does 7 damage, while an arbalest does 6. I kind of screwed up the order in my explanation there, but also 1 additional range for the longbow, and those are the 2 big things. 2 big differences between them. Now, what gets tricky is, I think a castle age longbow. So again, if you don't have elite. It is, I think it's the same HP as an arbalest. So, I don't know, like, you're just kind of making it for 1 extra attack, and it produces so much slower. So you really, not only does it take time to master the longbows, but if you're going to go for longbows, you almost always have to get elite. That's what it feels like. I also think the longbows might fire a little bit slower. I forget the exact difference there. But yeah. When elite longbows dominate, or when longbows dominate, they're almost always elite. But there might be a couple other minor differences there. You can tell an OG of Age of Kings fan based on their love of longbows and Teutonic Knights. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I love the Cataphract. I was actually I was big into the hero units. Like, I used to give myself hero units in the scenario. The mounted hero units that kind of looked like they have a lancer of sorts. There were quite a few different heroes that kind of looked similar. I forget the names of them. But I was big into creating scenarios, creating a lot of units, and all my units would be way stronger, and the fights would be very easy, and I'd beat the AI and feel very good about myself and repeat. That was my thing. And here's a barracks now for Fire. So Fire could go for an archer range. I think it's expected, actually, if he has 4 on gold. 5 on gold, even. On Arena, a lot of players like to go for scouts. But Britain's going archers does make some sense. Whereas I think Somero would make more sense to maybe add a stable. Mammies, too? Did you just abbreviate Mameluke and call him Mammy? Is that what you mean? Oh my god, look at the Saracen player. He's making mammies, guys. We got mammies over here. That's a new one. Never heard that one. Okay, there's the archer range. Should be a blacksmith. There you go. And just some standard fast castle plays. Nothing too crazy. Nothing to freak out over. Only thing is Somero might slightly lack the food here, which could be super annoying. Actually, we'll be okay. Drops off. And boom. There you go. Can click up. I'm not sure if I like going crossbow for middle map control if your opponent can make a Shravamsha Rider, but I guess you are going to have monks. I understand it because you're Britons. Well, you can go Archer Spearman, to be honest. Archer Spearman is normally what people do. And you still also, with Britons, are going to be able to afford the TCs because your TCs are so cheap. 2 relics in the south here. You got 2 relics towards the north, and then you have 5 relics towards the middle. And Fire is actually playing open right now. He's not walling, which is a little surprising, but he's just confident this is going to turn into a boom anyways. So even if there's a raid, he'll probably have a town center on both sides of his eco. Please don't make Mammy a thing. Was me acknowledging it, making it a thing? I think that's how it works as a streamer, right? If you acknowledge somebody saying something stupid, suddenly they feel... I'm not saying Mammies was stupid, but like, you know, anytime you acknowledge a troll or acknowledge anything silly, it suddenly becomes a thing, I feel. So, whoops! I meant to read it and not say anything out loud. I meant to just react to that in my brain. All right, Archer Spearman. Looking around. Now, they're much slower, right? But there's not a ton of space in the middle. So I feel like with the extra range Britons get, and keeping this mass together, it could be a bit of a surprise here for Somero. And Somero going double Monastery with scouts. Still scouting the outside with the camel here. And is now going to see the archers and see the spearmen. So I think when you show the monks, you need to make sure you have enough to convert those archers. I think if you show the 2 monasteries or just show 2 monks right away, you have a problem. And if Fire sees this... Oh, that's so important. Him seeing that, Fire should realize that there's actually a chance that the monks could convert his crossbows. And he should also understand the investment that's behind this. So normally players are going to fall back and say, okay, my eco is going to be stronger than his. Let's just not take any losses and we'll be okay here. I've never seen a siege tower. No. We saw a siege tower from ACCM, actually. In a crazy series a couple days ago. I actually forgot about that. That's a game that I'm going to want to try and get to the YouTube channel if I can. There's just been so much content. We've thrown it all up on the extras channel, but I still really want to get the best games to the main channel. And Fletching's in now for Fire, so he has 7 range. Normally you would have 6 range with Fletching, but Britons get +1 range in the Castle Age, so that makes it 7. So it's the same range as a normal crossbow. See? Oh, was the map Arena? No. When ACCM Siege Towered, it wasn't on Arena. It was on Fortified Clearing. I'm certain of it. Versus Valis. Monks over here still being protected. Nice job from Fire. We are really seeing a lot from Somero, but not a lot of eco. He's going Scorpions, Monks, and the Scouts. Just such crazy investment. And now Fire's going to kill a villager with the Scouts. Somero! It's looking so messy, man. It's looking so messy. Fire just playing clean. Also on stone right now, so he might be thinking about a castle. I still want this map in ranked. They could do it. The map exists. It's nobody's map to steal, right? Like, I think there's always been some concern from them. They're like, tournament host might get upset if we use this map or whatever. Could absolutely do it. I'm not sure. Then again, the map could lose its flavor, right? That's always my concern as the tourney host. Like, if they used all my maps in tournaments semi-frequently, it wouldn't be as exciting to watch. But, you know, when it comes to Fortified Clearing, it wasn't my original concept, right? For some of my maps, I'd be like, yo, Fortified Clearing, wouldn't be too worried about that. Fire's got 2 relics. They'll steal it, make it slightly different, and change the name to Cleared Fortress or something. What are you implying? What are you implying? 4 lakes. African Clearing. But no, They didn't want to make any waves, I guess. Yeah, put houseboat. Oh, dude, the houseboat should never be on the ladder. It's too mean. Okay, 3 TCs. Bodkin arrow now for Fire, so he's really pushing back against this. It's impressive for Somero that has so little idle TC time. And him adding the town centers now means he's still pretty competitive. His food count, though, tells me that he could have maybe had the town centers faster. And look at Fire's micro there. He's outranging the Scorpions. That's the thing. And then the scout comes in. Remember, this scout killed a villager earlier. And now the scout gets even more value. Backs up. And Somero does have 2 relics, which is an exciting thing. But again, Fire just distracting with the scout. Dude, Fire is completely working this guy right now. That's such good micro from Fire. And now he'll just take out the Scorpions. And his scout still survives, too. Again, this scout killed the villager, but is assisted with everything else. That guy's on 2 HP. And now Fire's got map control. Now Fire's got stone. Fire made a Cav Archer. Britain Cav Archer, let's go. And, I mean, I feel like Somero's in big trouble here. I feel like a castle on the front. And suddenly Somero has got, you know, no answer. Except maybe a fast imp. I don't know. Maybe that's his build order. Maybe that's his plan. Let's try and go fast imp. Because, again, he's floating a lot of resources right now. But Fire is playing as clean as can be right now. And pretty much what you would expect from a player of his caliber. And looks like he's going to dominate this series. He will also get 5 relics. At least. He might have a monk on the way back with another relic somewhere. I never watched Loyal Legends, but if they were playing on Houseboat, I would never stop watching. No, that's just mean. Whoa, Fire didn't have Bidaxe? What? No, that's just mean, man. Like, at that point, it like, Houseboat just makes the game really difficult, but at a higher level, that's okay. I think doing that to mid to low elo players, it just doesn't add a lot of value. And then you're just watching people struggle. So, Fire goes forward castle. Gurjara Fast Imp was the last thing I ever expected here, but Somero might actually be able to do some crazy things with this. They do get Bombard Cannon, the Gurjaras. And he has a Siege Workshop, and he also has a University. The Fire missing out on his Feudal Age Wood upgrade. I mean, at least he noticed, I guess. He's getting his Castle Age 1 now. That's not something you see every day, as he goes for 4 town centers. And Fire also is going to think about stonewalling this. Maybe that's why he added the Cav Archer, so he could get a unit there faster. And there she goes. She's going to head over there to wall that up. This is what Fire sees. He's controlling the map. And there goes Somero. He's buying all the stone. Hasn't really been mining much of it. And Somero's going to drop a castle here so he can make trebs. And Somero with an interesting opportunity here. I mean, he does have 3 relics, even though Fire has 6. Also, sending a few villagers this way. We'll have to pay close attention to this. No loom, so woo, 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 woo. Nope. Nice save. Alrighty. So it feels like a situation where Fire will lose this castle. But then he's going to have all the relics, and he has to, you know, time to prepare for whatever's going to come in here from his opponent. What a surprising Fire's going in here so far. What if you can't escape now? I would absolutely make a Mangonel here if I'm Somero. Because it's not like Fire can use his range. Alright, it's going to make trebs. Fire will see the imp time and be like, okay, maybe I need to do that. Much better economy for Fire. And he won't be too far behind the Imperial Age. And he's mining some of this stone. So even though this might be a waste of a castle, even though he might lose it, he's still taking some of that stone that kind of belongs to his enemy here. Fire looking to leave. Mangonel's now on the way for Somero. Oh, he would have had the potential for 1-6 shot. Still does, actually. Fire trying to hit the Treb. Now the crossbows get hit by the Mangonel. Fire confidently microing it down. Big shot. Not really. Dang. Yeah, Fire's doing a really good job. Somero still should be okay. He could repair, I think, underneath the castle somehow. But Fire's still holding his position as he's going to add barracks now. Yeah, that's my thing. Is like, I don't know what Somero's going to do. So I don't know what Fire is going to do to try and counter, like, whatever Somero's going to do, because I don't know what Somero's actually going to go for. I think Fire's expecting Shravamsha Riders, so he's going to go Halb. He did make a couple longbows, by the way. You were there when Woo 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 was a new thing. How new are we talking? Because that was a while ago. How many people here remember? I'm just going to give a couple clues. King stuck in corner. Bunch of wolves with the spearman. Does that ring any bells for people? And if it does ring bells for you, give me the player names. You might know, Andreas. You might know if you were around back when that whole thing started, because it was soon after that. Oh, that's a classic. That's a classic game. I thought of that earlier, actually. No, it wasn't. No Tato. I have to look that up. You asked me to remember so much, well, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. Okay, that's fair. See, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can always remember very specific things about Age of Empires. That's my curse. Was it a migration game? Nope. Oh, I'm stumping chat? Really? Nobody's gonna know. Interesting. All right, well, you might not remember the name of the players. Okay, this is interesting. Fire's thinking I've got full map control, but there's going to be Shravamsha and Elephant raid on this side. So Fire's got to maybe drop a castle here. Maybe concerned about this. He is going to send his pikes over, it looks like. All right, if you remind me, after this game, I will show you guys the clip that I'm talking about. Okay? I have to find the video. But it was Yo versus Backed. And I thought of it because earlier I saw them play, and I hadn't, like, Yo and Backed I haven't actually seen play against each other much. And I thought of the first time that I'd seen them in one of my series. It was on Pilgrims, actually, a 1v1 Pilgrims game. Koreans versus Persians, I think. I forget if it was Persians, but it was definitely Koreans. Okay. Shravamshas and the elephants. The elephants are taking out the buildings so incredibly quick. Also like the castle position here for Somero. Longbow hype, by the way. We've got 9 longbows for Fire. He's still trying to feel this game out, figure out exactly what the plan is for Somero. He can obviously defend this side with the Halbs. And Fire's committing to longbows, guys. Realizing he'll have the time. So he's actually committing to the unit we talked about earlier. 6 stuff. What he can't really do, though, is push past this castle. And here are some crossbows picking off some villagers from range. I think the Shravamshas are running home now. And Somero's just kind of gonna hope that this castle occupies Fire and loop everything towards the middle now. I'm still not hugely confident in Somero. You know, it just doesn't feel like he's all together here in this series. It seems a couple steps behind, but Britons are pretty slow, and Fire's not really massing Trebs. He is getting Yeoman now. No elite longbowman, though. And that's the thing, is elite longbowman's pretty expensive. You sometimes want some other things with the Britons, too. Mostly watched on YouTube, but caught a few streams here and there. Hey, welcome, welcome. Glad you could make it. Quick stone walls. Pointy boys made it past the castle. That's nice. And Shravamsha Riders are coming back. Fire's been very late with the siege here. I feel like siege in the middle or siege to the side would have been something that he could have done faster here. But, I mean, all those Shravamshas get mopped up, excuse me. And there's elite longbow. Let's go! Also, you got to be careful. Fire's doing a good job here. But you really got to be careful with the Britons not to overboom. because their units aren't really that expensive. It's actually much easier to get to like 80, 90 army with Britons than it is a lot of other civs. Because they're just making archers and they're making infantry. It's much cheaper than cavalry. So you probably don't ever want to surpass the 130 villager mark. 130 is the safe mark, right? So you always have resources floating. But surpassing that can be an issue. And I see that happen sometimes with me and others. Fire massing more castles, massing more longbows. Still Somero just trying to get a feel for the map. Knew that this side was going to be lost, though. And now Somero's only making skirms. But, I mean, guys, Gurjaras, they don't have great skirmishers. They lack the final armor upgrade. That doesn't really excite me too much. Fire's getting architecture now, so his buildings will have crazy HP. He's going to drop more barracks towards the middle. And he's massing more of those longbows. So it is going to be Halb longbow. And how do you counter that with the Gurjaras? Travamshrider, obviously pretty good against archer units because they quote-unquote dodge the shots. Especially against longbows that don't have thumb ring. But then you have Halbs in front. And the Halbs are so good against the Travamshriders. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen Elite Longbow. You really just don't see it frequently. But Fire realized it would be effective here, and he's got 12 range, man. Skirms can't counter Elite Longbow. If you don't have the final armor, especially. That armor is the most important thing with the skirmishers. Trebs are now going to be exposed. Halbs here, they might slowly die to the skirmishers, but the buildings are still being cleared up. Fire's still presenting some type of a threat there as he pushes towards the middle. And the longbow mass is growing. There's 35 of them. All right, Somero, you take out that mining camp there. He is massing now. He's massing Travamshas and skirms. Feels like two units that should be well designed to take out a longbow. I think Fire should just wall this up, which he's going for. Once that's walled, you push middle. Like, in fact, you already are walled on the other side. I think you just get the Trebs, send more Halbs forward, and then you just push middle to finish this game. Warwolf is in too, by the way. Fire's just having fun right now. He's going to drop another castle. Like, how are you ever supposed to be able to push this if you're Somero? Fire's been able to get away with this gold this whole time. Kind of denying Somero from taking this one. Plus, Fire has all those relics. Yeah, that's true. Even with the last armor, the skirms aren't that good. This is interesting from Somero. So he's trying to use the unit that already has like a bit of a dodge mechanic. Even though it's not really a dodge. It just like soaks up arrow fire. Trying to use that unit as the meat and the shields. Hey, T90, I only saw game 3, and all I can say is you're in for a treat. Well, I was told to cast this series, so I'm excited now. The longbows, sniping the skirms. Halbs are coming in front. Nothing quite like 40 longbows stacked in the same spot, man. And yeah, I mean, the Halbs should be enough of a meat shield, right? I don't think there's any way back for Somero. I mean, you would need to have more numbers, I think. And I don't see how that's a possibility. This is just an unkillable composition right now. Longbow Halb. Satisfying composition if you're in Fire's position. Also, the sweet spot with the ecos there, right? He didn't go over 130. So he's going to have like 70 consistent army. About 40 longbows, about 30, 40 Halbs in front. Seems like the perfect combo. And then you have the Trebs to finish off the rest. Did Dark win the last round? I'm not gonna spoil because people might want to, you know, if they didn't see the game, especially that one because it might hit YouTube. I don't want to spoil it, so I would say just scroll back in the VOD or check Wikipedia. But yeah, Fire has been dominating here this series. I don't know, Somero, you tried something really crazy in game number 1. Here, he also tried something crazy. He tried to go monks, scorpions, and scouts, but it just never really seemed like it was going to work. And for Fire, he gets 2 pretty easy wins. I mean, Somero's economy was deceivingly strong in the end. 54,000 resources collected. But Fire the favorite. Fire looking great. And all right, obviously someone just showed up and said, like, hey, you got to see game number 3. All righty. So, I've been spoiled. Spoiled by your support. No, well, I am, but that's not exactly what I was gonna say. And people told me that this game was fantastic, right? Initially, people said, hey, you need to cast a series. And I did cast a series, and the first 2 games were all fire. We saw Elite Longbow. That was pretty cool, but we didn't really see anything that made me jump out of my seat. Apparently, this is the one. Apparently, this is going to be crazy. And knowing Somero, it's probably something wacky, as he's going to try and make use of the Dravidian bonuses here. So a new civilization, Dravidians, that came out a couple months back. They're one of the civs from the Indian expansion that people don't really seem to think is that good. Or at least they're not saying overpowered when using the Dravidians in a conversation. I actually think like they are a civilization that is reasonably balanced. They have no crazy OP bonuses in a time where we have a lot of crazy bonuses in Age of Empires 2. I think getting the pop space when you build a dock is really nice. I think getting plus 200 wood when you make it to each age is very nice. Cheaper infantry technology is also very nice. But it's not like, raw, crazy OP, knights are 60% off, raw, eco technology's discounted and an age earlier, brah, it's not crazy. It's just like a mild bonus. And I compare Dravidians to the Japanese. I think that they're very similar in how they play out. Obviously, the one weakness of the Dravidians, they can't make knights, which can sometimes make life awkward for them in the mid-game. So, the focus on this map is to focus on the pawns. If you've been watching my content, you probably have seen this map before. It's called Cross. On the ladder, there's a similar map called Four Lakes. And Fire has, in my opinion, the #1 civ for this map. I do think if Lithuanians are played properly, they are the best. But you've got Japanese, you've got Dravidians, maybe Huns, maybe Byzantines right behind them. And what he's done is, since he started with so much extra food, again, this is a crazy bonus. You've got 150 additional food at the start of the game. The Dravidians get plus 200, but they've got to advance a whole extra age to get that plus 200 wood. And what you do with that extra food is you say, okay, I don't need that underneath my TC. I'll chop wood super early. And boink. Nice. Double boink, actually. Good awareness there from Somero. And yeah, so now Fire's going to have his dock up before his opponent does and can add fishing ships. So this is a build order that was developed over time by players who have utilized the extra starting food. But, this bonus, I know it's nothing to get out of your seat about, but this is a nice bonus here because when you're going for a dock build, the struggle is typically wood around this time because you want the wood for the fishing ship, but you also need the wood for the house. See? Now, you could do it normally, but now it's super easy. You're like, oh, fishing ship? And I don't need to rush down that next house at the exact same time. So, Dravidians have a window here, particularly because of the plus 200 wood, to make this crazy. But that's Somero as a player, too. He was a player who was promoted to play here. Fire, he's kind of been here, done that. He was in Titans League the first season. Fire's been a pro since like 2011 or something. Fire's been a pro for over a decade. So, yeah, Fire's just Mr. Experienced over here. Fire looking to see where Somero has docked, hasn't found it yet. And then Somero, he scouted really early, and he knows exactly where Fire is docked. So, my brain goes, plus 200 wood. Why not just try and use that plus 200 wood and spend it on a dock, right? And it looks like Somero is already starting to do that. And this is smart. I've seen timings, and it's not just with Dravidians, but all civilizations, where if you get there in time, don't get your scout trapped. Okay. If you get there in time, they just can't really stop it unless they have their fishing ship there and block the foundation continuously and move it all around. So, yeah, Somero walked this villager across before he even clicked up to feudal age, and there he goes. So this will get interesting, especially because at this point, Fire hasn't scouted Somero's pond or Somero's base at all. To me, kind of looks like Fire might go for a scout build. And let's see, Fire, I bet you any money, he's going to send a fishing ship to the right side. I didn't see this game. I just know these players. He's going to check to see if there's a dock. Oh, he didn't. Wait a second. There, he could. Can he see that? He can. So it's very common to fish the side because you want to know if someone has docked you. Yeah, and Fire absolutely notices that. And so this build order is designed to dominate the water. This is why you would pick the Dravidians. And obviously, you do not want to lose this villager. It's a nice job from Somero there. Somero completes the dock. Villager's walled in for now. All right. Fire says, okay, you want to live there? I'll let you stay there. I'll just wall you in. Somero says, I don't like that. I'm going to place palisade walls there. What do you think about it? And now she's like, well, crap. I guess I'll make palisade walls here. And, well, that could work out too. Somero does have the stronger scout. And now this villager's trying to escape. And now there's a fire galley. And now this is very awkward. Now Fire can't lose this villager because she's too weak. And now this villager's trying to escape. And quick wall and attack and awkward. And okay. But there's a fire galley coming. Somero, don't lose your scout. You definitely don't want to lose your scout here. The good news is he can still actually repair his fire ship from within here. The Fire did the right thing, and he's made a fire galley. However, Fire didn't go to gold right away when he saw that, so he can make one fire galley, but not the second. Meanwhile, over here, Fire waltzes right next to Somero's dock. Doesn't even have a clue. Doesn't even have a clue, but knows that Somero didn't dock over here. So Somero is probably going to lose fish, and that could be awful, as we have... synchronized repairing. What is this? And Fire ran out of gold. Fire ran out of gold to repair. Oh no. Oh no. She's like, give me gold. I need to repair, please. And now she's too far away. Ah! What's happening? Oh, there's another fire galley. That's a mistake. That's a problem. Uh-oh. Pain for her. And well done from Somero as he heads dock number 2. So this is actually one of the rare situations on this map where everyone could lose their fish. Usually it's like one person kills some fish, other person kills some fish, but they still have fish everywhere. This could get really messy from here. Fire did add scouts and is going to kill this villager. And honestly, I think that's good for Somero because he now sees Fire's dock. I don't even know if he noticed that before this villager started getting attacked. So they're both going to make fire galleys there. Fire's giving up on this pond, but he's now on the left side going to make fishing ships. And sorry for all the dings as I click the docks, but this is crazy. And we now also have spearmen out on the map for Somero because he expects scouts. Now, the correct move from Somero is immediately after winning this pond or getting a lead in this pond, you just add fishing ships. So very well played there. And now Fire is going to try and kill this. This is really high-level play. This is well played from both players. You got both players sneaking on ponds. You got scout rushes. You got spearmen to counter it. And, oh, Somero says, stay there, Fire, and I will burn you. Oh, how do you like the fire, Fire? Oh, Scout's dead. Fire, what are you doing, dude? Where are you going? Okay, well, you're dead. Well, that was a bit of a trap. I think Fire got a little too excited and lost his scout and lost a villager there. Well played, Somero. That's like been the theme of the day, by the way. There's been all these little quick walls and traps on these shorelines. Oh, big demo shot there from Fire, though. So now he could actually come back on water. And Somero now wisely is going to split up the ships. You absolutely need to do this so the demos can't do as much damage. Yeah, did I mention this is crazy? This is crazy. Now, Fire's out of the galley. And that could allow him to stop people, to snipe people's docks. And it almost looks like Somero checked the north, didn't see anything, but is comfortable for now. And getting Town Watch. And Somero, I think, might sell all of his stone and buy food and just go YOLO Castle Age. Because think about it, you're the underdog. You had a pretty decent start, 10 to 2 KD. I mean, that's better than decent. You want to kill Fire as quickly as possible here. And so that's what I do. Like, if I'm behind in a game, or if I'm behind even in a series, like, I just feel like I'm under so much pressure, I have to kill an early Castle Age. We got some skirmishers coming out. Lithuanian skirmishers are very speedy and can always be very good against some of the spearmen we're seeing out there for Somero. And good job from Fire to consistently repair here. Then again, as I say that, again, there's an issue with his ships today. They don't want to be repaired, and he does it now. We have 2 different colored geese, a villager, a skirmisher, and 2 spearmen in the middle. Somewhere there's a joke about a bar in there. Very awkward. But hey, I mean, Somero can still fully fish this pond, and he's not going to sell all his stone. He might want to save that. He could still fish here. And Somero's scout has seen that Fire has a dock over here. Again, we have spearmen in the middle now. There's more spearmen joining. And Somero's clicked up. Hold on a second. How's he pulling this off, man? Collected 500 more food. I guess he didn't make scouts either, but he did make a lot of spears. That's pretty impressive macro from him, honestly. Because I never felt like he had a massive fishing ship lead in this game. He didn't even fish here until now. But we've got ponds in the north and south controlled by Somero, and then Fire in the east and west. And that obviously could change. But the skirmishers could also change the army count. Like, there's only spearmen out for Somero. And if he got knights, guys, it'd be an amazing position. But Dravidian's not getting knights. Makes this extremely awkward. And this villager is trying to dock here. It would be rather funny if she ended up making it. Fire's patrolling here, thinking this is walled off. I guess you just add scouts here if you're Somero and just try and go light cav. Yeah, getting the castle age on this map is always so important, right? You can get the war galley upgrade in one of your save ponds and then contest another pond. If Fire lets this happen, Fire could lose this game. You can't let this happen. Does he see it? Seems like he notices it. Yes. That's huge. Also, something that's important is these skirmishers are getting chased down by the scouts here from Somero. Those skirmishers probably won't survive much longer. All right. There's 2 villagers down here. They look like they want to build something. They're walking with a purpose. Siege workshop for Somero. Okay. Fire still needs to hold for a couple minutes. Again, if his opponent had knights, I think he would have big problems here. This villager's still trying to dock. And that is not going to happen. So Fire still has 10 fishing ships, which is huge. It's 3 more than his opponent, but he's got light cav to deal with and an armored elephant. And wait a second. Is Fire going to lose his castle age TC? Maybe? No. There's no way. The armored elephants are strong, but I think it'd take a while to get there. Then Fire could maybe repair. What Fire really needs right now is he needs 2 barracks. He needs tons of spears. And he needs to get into his own pikemen. And we've seen the additional wood bonuses been used. We've seen the, the docks giving you pop space been used. We've seen the cheaper barrack technologies been used here from the Dravidians. Fire fighting off light cav with villagers here. I mean, he just does not really have anything, and he doesn't have walls. But, all he has really is villagers, so I guess he's trying his best. Imagine this is really stressful right now for Fire. 40 seconds away from castle age. Again, a second barracks would be awesome. Doesn't have it. And then over here, Fire will clear up this pond. So he has to kill the dock first. Oh my god, that's crazy. They're not actually hitting the ship. They're hitting the dock instead. No way. No way. If Somero kills fish with that, that'd be insane. Fire's up. He's lost an archer range. Not the biggest deal. It's clicking pikemen. And I think you're seeing the level difference. Like, I think if Fire would have had the light cav, Fire would have killed 8 vills with them already. But Somero's just trying to keep the ball, keep the army mass, not lose control. Fire with a quick wall. Fire's pikemen will be speedy. Fire with a monastery. Fire with a TC. And, oh, Somero's killing the fish. No way. Oh, that's a frustrating one for Fire. Again, he can't look at it right now. But he does see this monk. And he is going to kill it with the scout. That's impressive from Fire. He has a lot of work to do right now. So messy. Fire will be pushed off of his gold. Somero's still keeping this push going. Feels like pikeman's the most important unit on the field right now, though. So keep an eye on the pikeman numbers. Yellow and blue pikemen everywhere. 2 TCs for Fire under so much pressure. Remember, here in Gold League, it's the same as Platinum. Every win counts. And I think Fire was like 3rd place or something in... well, actually, no. Back up one step further. If you get 1st place in your group, you're instantly promoted to Platinum with no playoff. Which is what every player who wants to be promoted to Platinum will want, right? More Light Cav, more Spearmen coming forward. We now have a Knight counterattack from Fire. I mean, Somero is playing wide open, and all of his pressure is focused here. So counterattacking is absolutely the best play to start to unravel Somero, excuse me. Why not Scorpion, question mark? Scorpion for who? The Scorpion wouldn't make any sense for Fire. And I think for Somero, you want something that can take out the buildings. So, you know, you go Scorpion in Fire's position against the Pikemen. I think you just end up losing your Scorpion to the Mangonels. Yeah, Fire Ship was killed here with the demo, I guess. Somero still with great position here to get his win. And he's trying to control this push and never, like, overextend with it. Because he knows he's got a good thing going right now. Somero's now going to mix in a couple Scorpions because he's got the Mangonel numbers. Worried about the Pikemen. It's always a nice addition. I don't think it can be your main push. So there you go. You got your Scorpions. Siege Workshop for Fire. He really needs this thing. He needs 1 or 2 big Mangonel shots here on these Mangonels. Micro from Somero, and the Mangonel doesn't pop out. Fire's still under so much pressure. I mean, he's going to lose this TC. With the way Somero is playing this, with the patient build-up, it only feels like it's a matter of time where Fire doesn't have a TC. But guys, I know what I would do if I were Fire. Because here's the thing. I think 99% of people out there would go defensive castle right here to stop this. But if you do that, you're dead anyways, because you're getting wrecked. So the only way that you really change this game is I think you run here and you drop a castle on Somero's face. And then you both won't have TCs, if you can take that out. I think that's Fire's only way back. I don't see what else happens in this game beyond that. Great micro from Somero. Scorpion's helping so much. Light Cav have done a great job of just moving and not engaging. And if you drop the TC here, you're still dead, right? Fire has 14 fishing ships, by the way. He also could take out the fishing ships here from Somero. Okay. Oh, I lost sight of his Mangonels there. I couldn't see them. I freaked out for a second. Oh, man. More pikemen go down. 42 to 32 KD. Somehow Fire's only behind a 20 population. It feels like he's just completely dead. But that's just because we don't see the fishing ships. Right? The fishing ships are adding a lot of that population. Does Fire have Redemption? I don't think he does. Redemption would be great to convert some monks. Or, sorry, convert some siege. More and more pikemen for Fire. He's Snowtown Center. He does have his Mangonels now. Ooh, flatten some Scorpions. That's nice. It's really nice how fast the pikemen are right now for Fire. We have supplies for Somero. He's going longsword switch because he sees pikemen. And he just killed his own crap on the stable. Oh, no. He's scared to move up that hill because Fire has the siege there. Scout will get killed. But the monk dies too, and so does the pikeman. Oh, my... Oh my god, Somero. See, I say this a lot, right? If you're not constantly forcing the issue with someone and all in, they're going to counterattack you. Or even crazier, they're going to castle drop you. Woo-wee! Okay. Alright. Well, Somero doesn't have anything to stop this. And Fire's still alive. Look at the eco count. It's because of the fishing ships. He's got 15 fishing ships versus 3. And Somero, I think he's just now noticed. I'm not sure if he's noticed at all. He's got this to look at yet. Oh my god. Panic! Run away! And what makes it even worse is that it's Lithuanian, so they have the latest, which is an amazing unit. It's even stronger than a knight when it comes to raiding. Your farms were here too. Oh god, evacuate. Oh god. Oh boy, does Fire see that too? No, he won't have vision there. Okay, but longsword, right? Longsword feels great. Well, longswords get converted super easily. And then they're good against your own pikemen. Fire runs in with the latest. This is extremely messy and complicated. Somero needs this win in Titans League, though. Like, he's going to be someone who's fighting to stay in Gold League for the next season. He's got his work cut out for him. If you saw the first 2 games, you know how difficult it was in the meta games. Giving himself a great shot here. The light cap there kill a monk. That's great. Another monk? Oh, could have happened. Okay. Late is dying underneath the TC, getting a few villager kills. This TC is obviously going to go down soon for Somero too. He's trying to shift over here and push. Fire now has redemption, guys. He can convert the siege. Fire's got no base. And he just built this TC. Where are the monks here for Fire? The light cav are going in to try and kill these monks. Somero hasn't seen anything that indicates that redemption's been in yet. Fire's going to take that gold, which is also huge. He also is kind of in need of fish traps soon. It's worth pointing out. Oh, and Atonement's in! Atonement's in! Oh my goodness, so Somero just converts Fire's monk. That's huge. Does he have a new monk to be able to do that again? Light cav here on the siege. Longswords and siege rolling in. This is so messy. Siege versus siege. Siege gets converted. A monk gets hit in the back of the head. Light cav's on siege. Monk gets hit in the back of the head. We got 2 siege weapons next to each other. This one's gonna get converted. Now Fire's got the mangonels. Meanwhile, the TC's still going down for Somero. The Fire converts some longsword. This game is so messy. This is bonkers, man. But hey, the latest have come home. And the latest, again, they're just such a good unit. Latest. The big weakness for them wouldn't even be the pikemen out there. It's the enemy monks. Like, the monks are becoming so much more important for both players. And credit to Somero for continually adding light cav. And sniping. So a lot of this just looks so funny. Like this part of your screen, like, what is happening here? How are we supposed to make sense of this? Much less, like, the players themselves make sense of it in the moment. Latest will run in. Everything out there will die to the latest. And so Fire, I mean, I guess you could say this is stabilizing. He's stabilizing somehow. And now he has the mangonel push forward at Somero's TC. Oh my goodness. This is wild, man. Honestly, I think if Fire knew about this eco, if he had outposts here, I think he wins this game. Like, well, no, I take that back. There's a massive eco lead for Somero. He's got 97 villagers versus 53, but still, that's the majority of the food eco. Oh, man. It's just like an unkillable ball here of siege and lattice. And some of your barracks and monasteries are all forward. So you need buildings at home, and Somero's just going to go for castle defense. Oh, sheesh. I mean, this castle was good. This castle was needed, and you needed it ahead of time, too. Obviously, if you didn't have it ahead of time, you have a problem. I guess you abandon this area now. Do you maybe drop a castle here, delete this farm, and drop it here so you don't lose this TC? Oh, man. So many vills are dying. Crazy comeback here from Fire. That TC will melt, especially when the mangonels have the hill bonus. There's still so many exposed villagers here. There are pikemen on the way for Somero. But it seems like he's using select all barracks. And he's producing from the barracks underneath the castle and the barracks that's forward. Oh, this is where it's a problem. There's so many villagers exposed. The monk's trying to get a relic too. Where are you going, bro? Oh my goodness. Over here, we've got... we had a galley converted and a fishing ship. So he's actually raiding Fire's fish, which is massive. Fire, that's like Fire's food eco right now. And he's stealing the fish traps. Guys, you can do this. If you didn't know this, this is a Black Forest thing. This is why Somero knows about this, because this has probably happened dozens of times with Black Forest. Much like if there's an empty farm and you can run up to it with a villager and click it a couple times and then steal it. If you have a fishing ship and you go up to someone else's fish trap and you click it and it's not currently being fished, it changes to your color. So he just, in the moment here, stole the fish trap, and I think he tried to delete the fish trap, but he deleted the fishing ship, which kind of ruins it. But he's busy. He's busy. He's going to have a new castle in his base. He's got a new TC here. He's losing this town center. This is ridiculous. And what's happening? This is chaos, man. Oh, God, we got a castle here. It's a castle war. These villagers, I don't know where they're going. The villagers inside this TC, they hate their lives because they're not going to have a roof over their head for much longer. Fire has 5 on food, 0 on gold, 11 on wood, and 29 on stone. So, like, half of his economy isn't working. I guess half of it's building. And I feel like a ram right now for Somero, or I guess an elephant ram would be very good in this situation. Look at the amount of castles blinking on your screens right now. This is insane. Again, Fire lost his fishing eco there. He didn't have fish traps here. He's now selling stone and buying food so he can make petards. So he can take this castle out, which is actually really smart. Because if Fire can just keep this small now army alive, if you can keep this force alive, you can win. He maybe needs monks too, but he doesn't really have access to gold anywhere. Maybe you should make a mad dash to get this gold. There's always like random monks from Somero trying to convert things over here too. Oh my god, he's doing it again. Okay, there we go. Fishing ship converted. We know exactly what's going to happen. Fire... Did he lose his latest here? I think he ran away with them, but he's lost the siege to the Urumi swordsman now. But Fire is going to go after this castle, and if this castle goes down, Somero still has like no real protection for this area. Still random monks converting random villagers. Fire is going to get relic number 3. The fishing traps were stolen and then deleted. Fire still has 2 on food. Hey, very impressive idle TC time from both players. They haven't had a TC for a lot of the game. Or they've gone from like multiple TCs to 1. But very impressive. Urumi swordsman raiding the gold over here. What a find. What a find. You don't see these guys every day. I don't want to look away from this because Fire could petard down this castle. You really got to save every unit you've got right now if you can. The Urumi are actually killing Fire's vills because I think he had right-clicked his castle against that castle earlier. All right, here we go. It says 39 on food still for Somero, so he's obviously still in the lead here. And there are the petards. No way! One of the petards died to the side. It didn't hit. I guess the castle could still go down, but you've got pikemen and Urumi and a latest that was just converted on Fire's eco over here. Fire's losing so many villagers. This could lead to Fire losing more villagers. There's the next petard. This castle will fall. Fire's got so little here. Oh my word, this is insane. Nice job from Somero there to delete the latest. I think it's a smart play. This game is nuts. But and again, now all this is exposed, so you kind of need some pikemen here. What is... This game is just chaos. It's been a great game, though. And I think if Fire is... He knew before that it was unlikely that he would win when he went with the forward castle. And he's given himself his best opportunity. But I think at this stage, he just can't replenish forces. And like every latest that gets converted is just so painful for him as that conversion does come in. The Latus and Yurumi are here, and he still can't really conveniently push this way. Somero did a great job with farming eco this game, we have to say. And all right, well, now it's Fire's turn to steal some army. He steals some Yurumi swordsmen. And now the Latus goes over here and kills the monk. This is insane. Like, this is Fire's main economy, which is what's funny. But in these all-in plays, you need to have gold access. And gold access is just not something he has. Need a bunch of monks, and he would need a way to push the castles. I say that, and, like, he is actually winning this castle war. So he will eventually shoot that down. He just needs an answer for this one. And he needs to find all this eco. And we have Imp on the way for Somero. Finally. I think his eco is good enough where he could just make straight up pikemen at this point. It doesn't matter if his opponent converts anything. He can always make more. Fire sitting here in disbelief. He probably also doesn't think that his opponent has an economy like this. If I saw that score, I would think that I was behind by like 25 vills. But then I'd recognize that I'm kind of denying all these resources, and there's going to be another castle for Fire. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, Fire does not know his opponent has all of this farming eco. He thinks these would be abandoned at this point. Somero could make Trebs out of that one castle. It's the only castle he's ever going to have at this point. He doesn't have any other access to stone. And so he just abandons this area. He's actually got to be careful with these vills too. Fire with the scout has apparently killed a couple of villagers down here too. Oh, man. It's so messy. Hey, I mean, if Fire keeps it up, he's going to be back in business. Fire keeps making houses. He could have 400 pop. Well, they might get converted. I mean, it's just a habit, right? Probably a bad habit when you really need like more food, so you need the wood for farms or something. Telling you, man, like games like this, if you've never played a game this messy, it fries your brain, right? It's really hard to focus on things properly. You don't have like a good rhythm on where things will be and what to expect. It's all thrown out the window, and oh my goodness, man. He does notice this finally. And now he makes it to Imp. Now, does Fire tap out here? Does Fire wait and see if he can hold? This castle will go down for Somero, but he's going to have Halb. And thankfully for him, that techs are cheaper for the Dravidians. And he's going to have Trebs, and I don't think Fire can realistically engage against that. And the houses from Fire actually served as a nice little like wall of sorts, I guess, since when Somero has army, it just always attacks that instead of patrolling into any units. The Fire's like, we need upgrades. Let's get a blacksmith and then go take that gold. 4 forward castles for Fire. But yeah, his only win condition now is if he takes out these Trebs. But it's like takes out the Trebs and then rams down this castle. Then it would be achievable. But with Somero's economy being as good as it is, despite Fire's KD being as good as it is, and all the conversions and craziness, I don't think it's realistic to kill that many Halbs. Also, Somero found this gold now, so he's been really active on those gold spots, probably keeping an eye on this, keeping an eye on this, and just checking that there. So those Halbs are pecking away. The Fire will lose this castle. Who cares? He's got 3 more, right? He's hoping with 3 relics that the Latus will be good enough. 13 plus 4 attack is insane for Castle Age units. Farming eco there for Fire. He should absolutely have tried to steal some farms here. All these villagers are dying. And Fire thinking of avoiding that and like trying to take the main eco, I think. He's trying anything he can. You can't say he's not putting up a fight here. Latus still are killing Halb. I mean, again, Latus, I think this is well established at this point. Just a really crazy unit for Castle Age. 13 base attack for a Castle Age unit. Pretty insane. And Fire will go for conversions. Fire will take his best fight possible while taking the hill. Fire losing his rams, though. There's more Halbs on the way. More Halbs in production. You've got That castle going down, and Fire, you're at 50 pop, dude. You're at 50 pop. You've got no eco. You're probably used to it, so it doesn't feel out of the ordinary, but yeah, this is going to be the end for Fire. What a crazy game, man. This is the type of game you get when you have a really good strategy and the weaker player gets a really good foothold, right? That's precisely what happened here. Somero, he had a good strategy. He gained a good early foothold and then spun that into strong castle age pressure. But then they're the weaker player is a bit tentative and they're unsure on if they can actually push. And they're like, okay, I'm ahead. Let's not throw. And then the better player, the player who realizes that they are behind and that the person is playing like too passive, tries to find their best win condition. And the best win condition for Fire was hold with some monks, hope for the best, and just YOLO forward. And again, credit to Somero. I mean, he lost how many TCs? 1, 2, 3. He lost like 4 TCs. He had 4 castles in his main base at some point. But he did a really good job keeping an eye on everything around the map. There were always random monks converting something, random pikemen around. And then he was constantly like adding and expanding more eco. Like he has, on the map, he has 82 farms, but he has 42 farmers. And that might be the highest we've seen him at. So it shows how much he had to relocate throughout this game. Obviously had a pretty big lead in terms of resources brought in. He brought in 57,000 resources, and yeah, good series. I believe this full series will end up being on the main, the T90 Extras YouTube channel. This is obviously going to the actual YouTube channel, so like the main YouTube channel. So I want to hear people's thoughts about the craziness here. I feel like castle drops are something that's really fun to watch and really horrible to play against. And honestly, maybe I should apologize for not being able to make sense of a lot of this game because it was so ridiculously crazy. But yeah, from Somero, like stealing fish traps, and converting buildings, and everything that he had to do here was very creative defense from him. And for the Gold League, that's really good for Somero, actually. I don't know the exact results right now in Gold League, but I know that Somero's probably going to be in need of as many wins as possible.